everybody. My name is Kipp. I'm the director of the Transportation Distribution Logistics Institute at the Community College of Baltimore County.
Hi, I'm Mike Singer, Community Manager, Baltimore and Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers.
Do we need to address the elephant in the room, Mike?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We're not in the same place we normally do our podcast, are we?
Well, if I'm in my dining room and you're in your kitchen, wherever it is, and we're never this close together.
Wait, you don't think I have those commercials with like the split screen? No, all right. We're clearly not in our normal locations. We are on the John W. Brown. This is a really exciting opportunity that we were graciously invited to go and participate in their return to Baltimore after being in dry dock for several weeks, beginning some repairs, and so we came along with the ship and the crew, and they've allowed us to go and do a recording of our weekly podcast. Now,
Just about the coolest location, I mean, for Baltimore group, for Baltimore Shipwatching Maritime group, I mean...
You can't watch a ship any closer to what we're doing right this second.
Exactly. And what we've been doing all day.
Exactly. Did you see a couple minutes ago when that the bear ship outran us?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, it came through the Chesapeake Bay Tunnel behind us.
Yeah.
I have pictures of it.
Yeah.
And then as I went back out here before we started,
right,
it was right alongside us. It was taller.
Wow.
So we should when we get off here, we should take a look at that. So
that's cool. So that's some ship watch.
Yeah. What's also really cool is we have a studio audience. Everybody say hi. There we go. Yes. I am excited. We have a.
We found some suckers.
We did find some suckers. So yes. So I'm gracious.
First studio audience.
I know, that is really cool. All right, why don't we go ahead and get right into our shipping update, Mike?
Yep, sounds good. So what we've been doing is, as we talk about the port's recovery after the bridge collapse, and a lot of it seems normal. Coal seems normal, cruises seem normal, the ro-ros are coming back into town a lot. Yeah. So of course there's a lot of other products that get shipped in and out of the port. But the one thing that we've been talking about that was probably the slowest to respond is container volume.
Correct.
Right? So we've been trying to track that, and we've been using the metric that the port uses, so truck transactions. And they keep track of this every day. Now, here's a nugget that the folks on the live stream camera chat figured out. You can download the app, and they live will update the truck transactions. You can watch the numbers go up.
So what, as it goes through the gate, the number will go up?
I guess. But only on the app, only on your phone.
Okay.
So I haven't tried it out yet. That sounds interesting.
Okay. Well,
folks that are interested in that.
We'll have to look into that and see if we can't explain where, if people are interested in following those metrics, where to go get that.
Right. So, and things have what we started, about a month or two ago? Probably 2 months ago, we started following these truck transactions. So instead of just saying, there's this many ships in, or it looks busy, let's talk about real numbers, something that we can actually track. And so, quote unquote, we know what we're talking about,
right,
because we're actually following numbers publicized by the port. So, for this week...
You want me to pull the numbers up on
would you show that, please?
Pretty sure. There we go. There's your truck transaction metrics.
Yeah. So for this week, 2,700, so we're starting on Monday, 2,780, 2,921, 2,804, 2,779, and Friday seems to be a little bit of a lighter day for some reason, weekly, but whatever, okay. 2,470. Okay, so we're talking about, you total that up, that's 9,300 for that week.
Where does that put in relationship to the other things, the other metrics? Are we still in that positive trend?
Well, And then what I do is I average that. Okay, so you have, the week ending the week before, we're averaging 2,700 truck transactions a day. So 4 weeks ago it was 2039 average for that week.
Okay.
Week ending August 10th, 2135 average daily truck transactions for that week. The next week, 2413. This past week, 2750. So it made a significant jump.
Okay.
So the average for the previous 4 weeks was about 8,500. And now we're up over 9,300.
All right, so we do have a good, strong positive trend. It's not just kind of waving.
It's not at all. Okay. And I thought that we might see some dips and a little inconsistency, but we're just constantly climbing uphill, and that's great for folks who are reliant on the port to do their businesses, trucking and everything to do with getting containers in and out of the port.
Okay. Good. Any key bridge updates? I know that we're kind of trying to keep up with everything with the bridge on a weekly basis. Anything new from this week?
I did hear from an engineering friend of mine that supposedly the PDB, the preliminary design build team for the new bridge, has been selected, but not publicly announced yet. So I've got news, but I don't.
I'm kind of in the same boat. No, I'm actually in the same ship today. I'm in the same ship here. In some of the inner workings and some of the programming options that we're working on at the college, I have to work in with some of the transportation logistics companies, and there's been some positive talk about some companies that are within the area have already been identified or have been contacted of, hey, you're going to be involved in this particular part of the bridge project. So they're already starting to ramp up and get ready with the anticipation, the expectation that as soon as the award is given, they're going to be going right after it and start getting this thing going.
Right. And so the final approval for all the demolition permits should be coming in here real soon. They should be starting that really soon, in a few weeks, I would think. I think that's supposed to take like 10 weeks or something.
I don't know the week number off the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see if there's any news coming out this week with some specifics on it.
Then the other elephant in the room. We're on this incredible cruise.
Yeah.
Back to Baltimore.
Yeah.
And we saw friend?
It's
not a friend.
You know what?
Frenemy? So
we saw the Dolly.
We saw the Dolly today. We took a bunch of pictures. It was interesting to see that ship with nothing on it, way high out of the water. So remember we talked about that before in previous podcasts. A lot of times people were saying, hey, why don't they just unload the thing? And the captain of the port from the Coast Guard said, we can't, because if we take all the weight off, it'll come up out of the water, and, because really the air clearance under the bridges was the issue. And so if you take the cargo off, it comes higher, and then it wouldn't even be able to get under the Bay Bridge.
Okay.
So we saw how high up in the water it's sitting, way higher than
so wait, you're telling me that they need the weight and the containers on the ship in order to meet height restrictions?
Yes. And some people just didn't buy that, and I'm like, it came from the captain of the port of the Coast Guard. I don't know. That's a guy that probably knows what he's talking about. I'm going to believe that guy.
That's a qualifier, yes. Yeah. Okay. It was interesting to see it parked there. I think we saw some of our familiar cranes that were also.
Yeah. The Weed 533 is still working on it.
Yeah. So that's still a work in progress.
Yes.
If anybody's interested in looking at the pictures, of what's happening with the Dolly right this second. We posted it up in the Shipwatchers group today.
Right.
Those pictures that we took from the John Brown as it passed. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was something that was on my bucket list to make sure that we saw while we were down here. So
Yeah.
I got a chance to see it. Let's see. What do you want to talk about the John Brown a little bit? Since we're here, maybe we've got.
Why not?
And since we have crew members here.
Absolutely.
We have we've heard a lot of stories.
We have.
So which is exciting for me. I'm sure exciting for us.
Certainly.
I want to say this though, and I want this to be on the record, and I want to make sure that this goes public. I want to personally thank the whole crew, everybody who's involved with the John Brown.
Absolutely.
And the friendliness, the support, the help, everything that the crew has given to us and supported to us has been phenomenal.
You would think we were like real TV people.
Exactly. The way that we've been treated was just amazing, and I want to publicly thank everybody. I'm ecstatic. When we got the opportunity, and I'm imagining I'm going to be sleeping on a cot somewhere, or I really thought I was going to have to go over here. And
I've heard these legendary stories about there's some horrible place where it's like hot as heck, and you can't sleep. And I'm like, okay, we're the news. What are we going to do? We're going to be sleeping on the floor, like above, above the engine room, and I don't know what I thought you guys were going to do.
This has been the best. Now I will say one thing. It's fine. It's fine. He was on the Isle Royale in the Hector, so by trade he was a machinist, inside machinist, and that was his job on the Hector. Here recently he started to tell a little bit of stories about being in the Navy during that time, and I can understand maybe some sensitivity with that.
Right, because we all have family members who, and we would love to hear these stories, and we're fascinated by our loved ones' history, but maybe they really don't want to talk about it.
Sure, and I can understand that. But he's opened up a little bit to me here recently. 2 o'clock this morning, though. So I knew the power plant was coming up at midnight or 1 o'clock this morning.
Right.
And when that thing lit off at about 1:30, I had jumped out of bed, and I was like, I wasn't quite sure. I had forgot that I was here.
Right.
Yeah. And then you were on the bunk below me.
Yeah.
So I now have not that I didn't have the respect for my father and what he did.
Absolutely.
I have exponentially more respect for my father and what he did within the Navy, being on a ship out in the Pacific and going into Vietnam.
Yeah.
That would be really tough for me.
Yeah.
That was kind of my realization this morning about what this life is like, and anybody who chooses to go or maybe doesn't chose to go.
Right, maybe, yeah.
I have so much more respect at this point.
Absolutely.
Just in this experience that I've had this weekend. So that's my other thank you to this crew to allow me to have this experience and to be able to know what this is really like. I've been on the Brown before. I've been through the tours and things like that, the work that we've been doing. But
it is kind of cool to be able to, we actually kind of know where we're going now.
Yeah.
Because we've been here long enough to figure it out. Before, it's just somebody points you, go down here, go down that ladder, go around that corner, and you're lost in the next 10 seconds, right? All right, now how do I get back upstairs? But now we're actually kind of figuring out. Well, my thank you is maybe some of you know the movie My Cousin Vinny. I feel like I know what Vinny felt like, right? Because we're down there and we're sleeping at the shipyard, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the lift bridge for the trains. You remember My Cousin Vinny? No matter where he went, he couldn't sleep. So he wakes up in that hotel and he's banging on that bell, and he's half asleep and he's just banging on the bell, and the guy comes out and he says, "Hey, I thought you said that train doesn't come through here at 5 o'clock in the morning." He said, "Oh, no, it comes through here 4:30 every morning." And now that what my cousin Vinny felt like, because I felt like I kept getting waken up by all this different stuff.
How many trains came through last night? 372.
In one night?
That's what it felt like.
I know.
All right, so the food has been great.
Man.
Oh, I think I've gained 3 pounds.
Yeah. Somehow breakfast, boy, you missed breakfast this morning.
Well, that's because you were.
My mom
you weren't paying attention.
would think like something's wrong.
They called the breakfast, you just didn't show up. That's your fault.
Point taken. Thank you. Why you gotta throw me under the bus?
Yeah, see what I got to put up with all the time, or see what he's got to put up with all the time? Yeah, all right. So, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope that we didn't disturb your guys' effort in making the in operating the ship, and appreciate the time that you.
We weren't away too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? There was an article about the Military Sealift Command.
Yeah.
You want to
So I thought since we were on the ground, right? It's sort of semi-related, in a way. So we have some folks here that staff ships, and so Navy said they could sideline 17 support ships due to manpower issues. So Military Sealift Commanders drafted a plan to remove crews from 17 Navy support ships due to a lack of qualified mariners to operate the vessels across the Navy. So they're talking about 2 replenishment ships, 1 fleet oiler, a dozen Spearhead-class expeditionary fast transports, 2 forward-deployed Navy expeditionary sea bases. They would all enter extended maintenance period and have their crews retasked to other ships in the fleet.
So is this an reallocation of resources, or are they just going to shut it all down? Or shut part of it down?
I really can't speak. I just thought this might be appropriate content for us here. I think they're reallocating because they don't have enough people. And so they can get ships fully staffed if they aren't staffing as many ships.
Where are we going to get the people? So in my line of work, this is
Depot?
Yes. No, not like that. No, but what I'm getting at is within the educational arena.
Right.
I get calls from industry saying I need people.
Right.
And I quite honestly don't have a whole bank of people who are in specific programs ready to be hired.
Mm-hmm.
And what we have figured out is that there is an issue.
You don't keep them like fed something? Okay.
No. I mean, if I had money in the budget to go feed them, I'd feed them. And that's what it took in order to come into the classroom. But part of the problem is that there's not a true awareness of what the career pathways are.
Yeah, I agree.
And these next generations are struggling with trying to understand, like, what the jobs are, or even what jobs could possibly be.
Right.
Now, part of the issue is everybody wants to be a YouTuber. Well, I'm going to tell you right this second, we're not making any money doing YouTube videos. Okay.
Right.
So
why are you doing that?
Well, we're trying to bring awareness to the port. But within the transportation arena, when I talk to students and I say, what jobs do you think exist? It's truck driver, because somebody can drive down the street, look at a truck driver and say,
and they see that.
They can see that. Or at port facilities, they know that there are longshoremen who go out and are part of the union to go work ships. But beyond that, there's a tremendous struggle as to what many different other jobs are that really do exist. And I think that this is something that entities like Military Sealift Command can go and say, hey, look, here's where our deficiencies are. We know that there is a a public, a population of the public who doesn't understand what this is, we're going to have to invest. And when I say invest, it's not just, I'm not saying monetary investment, but it could be time or effort to explain what the career pathways are so that they can go get those jobs. Now, case in point, earlier we were talking about the Navy. You know, my father was drafted, or no, right before he got drafted, he joined. Okay, but he made that choice. I knew a little bit about what he did because of what he told me. But beyond that, I had no exposure or understanding or experience, and that's why I'm kind of grateful today, is to really kind of maybe get some sense as to what you know, being on a ship is like. That helped me to understand that maybe that's not my direct career pathway that I really want to go after.
Right.
But those are the types of experiences that these next generations need to have in order to vet that process. And not everybody's going to be a video gamer, you know. Not everybody's going to be a ball player. Go look and see what else there is, and do some career exploration so that you can go figure that out.
Right.
So.
Don't just talk about it to the kid down the street. Do some research.
Correct.
Don't base your whole career on the kid down the street like I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you know what? This one is something that I want to follow this a little bit more, just because of the importance of understanding what the career pathways are, and here timestamp 22. What's that? We're good.
There's one right in here. There's some info for you. What paper cloth?
Okay. Oh, whoa, wow, big update.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
all right.
Well, we will we'll tackle that here, and
We'll knock that at the end.
yeah, let's do that. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right, so it's important for these next generations to understand what those jobs and careers are so that they can go after. Maybe that will help with.
Now, how do we get them to listen to the podcast?
Well, we're on YouTube because they all like to watch YouTube, so maybe that's what it is.
Okay. All right, I'm boring the folks here.
Yeah. Moving on, we started a segment with which are trying to bring to light some of the historical importance of the Port of Baltimore. The port's over 300 years old. So what I'm trying to do is look at what is the port this week in history.
Right. Yeah.
So last night at 3 o'clock in the morning, after I was awoken, I said,
so basically, if you just slept through, we wouldn't have
That's
this.
100% correct. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. No.
I'm glad they woke you up.
Yeah. I tried to make it worth my while to be awake.
So what do you got?
So here's what I've got. This week in August of 1785.
Wow.
Yeah, see, I went into some archives to find this one. China trade began in Baltimore when John O'Donnell arrived in Baltimore on a ship called the Palace, with cargo from Canton, China. Now wait a second.
We know that word.
Where have we heard Canton before?
Yeah.
Do you think there's correlation? Yes.
And then when we go back to Baltimore history, it was a separate town.
Correct.
And incorporated into Baltimore.
That is correct.
A lot of people don't know that. I probably didn't know that until recently myself.
So John O'Connell was the son of John and Deborah from Ireland. Okay, and they were merchant and ship captain for the British East India Company. And when O'Donnell arrived in Baltimore Harbor in 1785, he named his land along the harbor Canton, after the Chinese port city now called Guangzhou. Did I say that? Does anybody? Guangzhou? Okay. You know what? Somebody will correct me on that.
Absolutely.
So I'm not worried about that. And so Canton remains an active harbor industrial residential neighborhood in Baltimore. And so with O'Donnell Square and O'Donnell Street running through its center. So that there are some connectivity, some connectivity and things related to the port and the city related to the port of Baltimore. So I thought that was a pretty interesting nugget there. So, see, I'm open for them. Is there? Does anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts, stories? I know that we might all have some really cool stories of importance about the Brown. Does anybody have anything they'd wish to share?
Some John Brown history that most people wouldn't know. All right, who wants to give me one?
John Brown was a high school in New York City, 1946 to 1982. Vocational high school, taught the deck department, engine department, and chief school.
This ship was a high school.
The only maritime high school in the country.
How did you know that?
I went there.
Really?
Graduated in 1959.
This guy.
Wow.
All of our instructors on the ship were licensed captains, chief engineers, and chief stewards. It was a fantastic school. Where I wish we had more schools today. You're talking about schools with children not being interested. They don't know what's out there. Right? We walked on the ship. I walked on the ship in my sophomore year and learned what a seaman really has to do. Every student came on there as a seaman, not a student, not a kid. We were all treated as like you're going to sea kid. Better shape up or get out. Fantastic school.
Wow.
That's cool.
Now over your right shoulder, there's a replica, and it says John Brown, and it's got some schools listed there. What?
That's a model that was given to the Alumni Association that I refurbished. It was in very bad shape when I got it, and it's a 9-foot model of the Liberty ship. And it's painted in school ship colors that the kids spec on.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The unfortunate part is when I was refinishing it, the craftsman that built it didn't put his name anywhere.
Oh.
And it's heartbreaking because every piece on there was hand cut, hand fitted on a 9-foot model. It's awesome.
And so.
The turnbuckles on there are all working turnbuckles.
What? Wow.
Whoever built this thing did a fantastic.
And so, obviously, you all, some of you have been trying to find this, and there's been no luck trying figuring out who did it.
Who built it?
Right.
It was given to Captain Lacey in New York. He was one of the founders of South Street Seaport, and he was on a ship in the North Atlantic that was torpedoed and for saving the crew and everything else. The model was given to him after the fact. When he was at the South Street Seaport. And we rescued it from people that were destroying the model. They were actually going to throw it in the dumpster before we picked it up.
Wow. Well, you did a heck of a job.
Absolutely.
It looked great.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that.
This is a good one.
All right. Anybody else got a nugget of information they're willing to share?
Come on. I know you guys could spit out 10 facts each on this ship. Well, come on, let's have some.
Well, one thing, Bill started with the ship ceasing in Norfolk High School in 1982. It's now 2024, and she's still producing young people for the maritime industry. STEM students, people who grew up on here, went on to the Mercury Academies, just went to sea, went to the Navy. As a matter of fact, the captain of the ship for this trip, first thing down here when he was about 2 years old, was his father's name, Gertrude Babysit. And he grew up down here, and he ended up going to sea with an unlimited ocean master's license, and so he's now back driving around the ship that we play on.
How about that? What kind of memories? As a kid,
right?
As a young child, to have that experience and then still be able to carry that on, continuously.
Right. Because I think we all have some of those memories when we were, and for some of us it was, quite a while ago. But I mean, we can remember being a kid and seeing what, like, the high school students or the adults, and think, oh man, that would be cool. I can't wait till I'm that old and I can do that. I wonder if he ever imagined as a 6 or an 8 or a 10-year-old that he might be captaining this ship, right? I mean, what a legacy that is. How cool is that?
That is pretty awesome.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, cool.
We had 2 girls come on here in their early teens, and both of them coming to the maritime trade, wanted to say they were traveling to New York, and I don't know what Karen is doing. Karen, the 2 sisters.
Karen Bashian, the senior pilot in New York, and her sister was a master of ocean-going large oceanographic vessels with just recently inaugurated. She has the job of being promoted with the American industry and governments.
They were young girls when they came on the ship.
Wow.
Right, yeah.
Okay, well, maybe that's giving those engaged learning opportunities, having somebody come and shadow or have an active learning environment. Maybe that would help with learning about being on the ship.
I've been involved with a school in New York City, an environmental maritime school, harbor school. They're involved in the building the oyster project there, and I've been, brought those kids from Depot and down the teaching program down 12 to 15 at a time to work parties on the ship, and it was truly a learning experience for all of them.
Awesome.
And a great school besides.
Great.
Cool. Those are really 2 really cool stories there.
Yeah.
One more? Anybody got one more?
All right.
Oh,
So this ship was not supposed to be named John Brown.
Oh, really?
This ship hit the building ways. It was destined to be named Ralph Ism. Ralph is a famous, as everybody knows, he was a early representative from North Carolina. But as launch day approached, it came that this ship to be launched on Labor Day. So on Labor Day 1942, 7 Liberty ships were launched around the country, and they were all named for labor leaders to honor the union workers of the ship. So last minute, Ralph Isser and John Brown switched names, and here we are on a ship named after labor leader, launched on September 7th, Labor Day in 1942.
that is awesome.
Wow.
Huh.
And Ralph is scrap iron.
How about that?
Wow. How in the world do we not know that? Because nobody wants to hang up a sign right next to the ship that goes, almost.
Almost name something else. Yeah.
What does that mean? Okay, then you can tell the story.
Now you can tell the story. How about that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I think Lou here is about going to turn inside out.
All right.
He's got a story.
All right. Go ahead.
Let's have it, buddy.
Well, the first time I ever saw open water, I was about 4 years old, and I ran out to the end of the pier into the lake, and where there was an alligator, in Florida. My mother was absolutely mortified, but I knew at that point, or I think my parents knew at that point, I absolutely heard the call of the sea. I had to be around water. And so, about 30 years later, I was working as an operations officer on a research vessel. And our research that week was trying to develop a communication system underwater that didn't use cable. It was using acoustics to transmit data. So
Transmit data through the water.
through the water.
What year was this?
This was about 2004.
Interesting.
And
there was a modem, and it basically, it sounded like, if you could listen in the water, it sounded like when you were signing up, logging into the internet.
Right.
It had
Kind of the same kind of
Oh, it's
tones
just, wait,
going back.
is this when like when I was in college and you dialed in through the modem through the landline?
Right.
Mom picked up the phone and said,
Yeah.
okay.
It would be meaningless tones, basically. But for our devices, they could interpret the data.
Mhm.
And so the components were about a mile apart, and the data was transmitted 24 hours a day and received, and we were determining the quality of the data. So that's really not important to the story, for the most part. We were also anchored about a mile off of Delray Beach. And so when you're anchored on buses, the watch is live. You make sure you walk around the vessel, you determine if there's no fires or floods, and you make sure that you're not dragging anchor. But it's pretty easy duty, and that was going to be what I was looking forward to on my daily watches for the duration of the week. As I was walking around the deck of the vessel, I hear from over the side, "Hello, hello, is anyone up there?"
You think the water was talking to you? I mean, what in the world?
I had not expected to hear anything from outside of the ship. And I walked over to the side, and I looked down, and there was a swimmer in the water.
Not in a kayak, he swam all the way.
He swam at least a mile from the beach. So he said, "Hey, I'm really, really thirsty. I was wondering if I could come up and have a glass of water." And I said, "Well, let me check with the captain." And so
That's
I went
crazy.
and I found the captain, and I told him there was a swimmer over to the side who's thirsty, who would like to come aboard and drink some water. The captain had a hard time believing me. He wanted to know where this was happening.
Yeah.
I pointed to it, and he saw that there was some other people looking over the side at this fellow. And so he said, "Okay, you don't let him inside the house, but set up some deck chairs and give him some water. I don't want anything to happen to him since he's reached out to us.
Right.
But when he's done, he is off. You send him back."
Oh my
Yes, Captain. So I set up some deck chairs, a blue one and a red one, which doesn't mean much now, but it will later. So I go back to the fellow and I said, "I want you to swim around to the other side where," and then I got the bosun and we hung out the Jacob's ladder, which is a ladder that reaches down to the water. And the swimmer climbed up the ladder, and I said, "Okay," I pointed to the red deck chair, and I said, "You have a seat right there. I'm going to go get you a glass of water." And he says, "I don't know if that's a good idea, the red chair." And I went, "Why?" He says, "I really don't want to give the crew the wrong impression." I said, "Well, I don't think you're going to give the crew any wrong impression. You sit in that chair." And so I don't know exactly what he feared, but I speculated that it was something political.
Right.
I went and I got a glass of water, and I brought it back to him, and I sat down in the blue chair next to him, and he took a sip, and he looks at me and he says, "So, are you guys hiring now?" I'm like, "Hiring?" He goes, "Yes, I happen to be a very good swimmer."
And I just swam this far for this interview impromptu, right? I mean, it's the craziest thing ever.
I said, "I believe you that you're a very good swimmer, but I mean, it really takes more than swimming to work on a ship. You have to be able to do something else." And he says, "Well, I'm a firefighter. I'm a medical leave right now, but I'm a firefighter. And I'm like, well, everybody on the ship has to learn how to fight fires. So that's good. That's a step there. And he looks over to the side of the vessel, and he sees our accountability board.
Mm-hmm.
This is a board that has the names of the crew,
Right.
and has a colored disc next to it. And if you're red, you're gone, and if you're green, you're here.
Oh, right,
So,
sure.
it's nothing very complicated.
Right, just tracking who's on.
Just so people know who's aboard.
Right.
So he says, "Oh, we have one of those in the fire department. One of those, the accountability board." He goes, "Yeah, we have something like that, except we use it for burning buildings." And I said, "Well, that makes sense. You would want to know which firefighters are in a burning building and which ones have come back out." Right? He says, "Yeah." He says, "And you know what it means if they spell your name wrong on the accountability board." And I was like, so they don't know what you're doing? And he goes, "That's right. They won't come in after you if they spell your name wrong." And I said, "And so that's why you're on medical leave?" He goes, "Exactly." I was like, "Yeah." So he says, "So how long are you at sea?" And I said, "Well, we are actually on the 300th day at sea this year for this ship." He goes, 300 days? I don't think the wife will go for that. I was a little surprised that he had a wife, but I said, "You know, if you're pretty good about sending home a paycheck, you'd be surprised what wives will go for." He goes, "Yeah, I don't know. I got kids too." Again, I'm a little surprised by this. And he says, "See that blue and white parasol on the beach?" And he points to the beach, and I saw a big blue and white parasol. He says, "And there's some figures underneath." He says, "That's my wife and kids." And I'm like, Well, I saw that he was done with his water, and I said, "It's probably time that you get back to them." And I start walking them towards the side of the ship where the Jacob ladder is. And I was remembering our experiment, that we were conducting over the course of the week. And I said, "I'm curious, on your swim on the way to the ship, did you happen to hear anything?" And his eyes got very big. He goes, oh yes, I heard that ship singing to me. That's how I knew I should come out to the ship." And so all I have to say about that is some people really do hear the call of the sea, and some people are very confused.
Gotcha. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right.
That was most excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have anything else?
I think, you know what? I think I'm about done. I think I'm about tired and very good at my ball.
Yeah.
Oh, you got one more.
Well, let's have
Hold
it.
on, hold on.
Over the last 8 years, Brown has developed a very tight relationship and bond with USA Pacific cadets, and we're fortunate to actually have the training together with the USA Pacific cadets, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Persano,
Oh,
who is going to speak a little bit about what we do with the cadets the last 8 years.
okay, sure, yeah, absolutely. Why don't we come up? I'm going to bring this mic right here for you. Okay. You can have a seat and relax. Just hold on to that mic. All right, go ahead. Feel free to chat.
So, as John mentioned, I'm a volunteer with the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Corps. First, I'll start with the introduction to that, because many people don't know what it is. It's a youth program sponsored by the Navy of the United States, supported by the Navy and the Coast Guard. It gives teenagers a chance to learn about the military,
services and give them a chance to develop an interest in things and see what type of work they want to do in the future. So I tell people it's kind of like Boy Scouts, but it's all Navy focused. They wear Navy uniforms, they do Navy type trainings, and they advance through ranks, the Navy rank structure. They actually can go into the Navy or Coast Guard at a higher rank if they enlisted by going through this program. But there's no obligation to go into the military.
Right.
So cadets, when they first come in, they go to a boot camp somewhere in the country. There's different trainings that are sponsored during the year. And so once they've gone to boot camp, then they can go to an advanced training. Advanced trainings range from culinary, medical, field operations, boat building, aviation, submarines, you name it, we pretty much have advanced training that provides that opportunity for kids. One of the advanced trainings that we do, I host here on board the Brown, and we actually just did an advanced training back in June. Cadets from all around the country come here, teenagers between the ages of 14 and 18 years old. They'll come to the training, they'll live on board the ship for a week. They'll learn things like marvelous by seamanship, deck seamanship. We take them through the engine room, they learn about the steam cycle, about firefighting, and then we'll get the ship underway for 3 days. So we get underway typically on Wednesday, anchor out each night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and they get, during that time, they get the opportunity to stand watch on the bridge and stand watch on the engine. So they really get to learn all over the place to be on the ship underway.
Yeah, I think I remember that when you guys came by, because I'm just south of Baltimore.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I remember that.
Last week of June. And like I said, we have kids that come in from all around the country to come and try it out. We've had a lot of cadets who do the training and spark their interest in wanting to go somewhere and see what services. But again, it may not happen to everyone.
Sure.
And then we also sponsor another training. We're working on one in November. We'll do a condensed version of it over the Veterans Day weekend, where we go on the way for a single day.
So the other one was how long?
3 days. We get underway on Wednesday and we come back on Friday.
Wow, okay.
And the condensed one is?
June is the condensed one is 4 days on the ship, 1 day away.
Gotcha.
So CDEP program is little known. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's a great opportunity for kids to get out of playing video games all the time and trying new things, both physically and mentally challenging. The program starts as young as 11 years old. So there's big cadets that are 11 to 13 years old, and C cadets that are 14 to 18. C cadets have more requirements on them, more expectations. But big cadets, it's more of a chance for them to learn being away from mom and dad all the time and trying things around.
So can you come in at a later age?
You can come in at any time.
Right, okay.
And like I said, there's no commitment to going in the military.
Right.
The thing I would say is if anybody has a kid, if they're interested in getting involved, they can go to www.ccadets.org. You can put your zip code in there and find a unit near you, and it will give you the contact information for people in that area, because there's about 250 units all around the country.
Nice. But so it's just 1 week per year, or?
So each unit drills on a different schedule.
Oh, right.
So they've got a home unit, they may drill 1 weekend a month, they may drill 2 days on a weekend within a month. It depends on what the individual unit can do. So they do that year round. Over the summer and over the winter break, we have the advanced training. So again, they go from the boot camp, and that opens them up to go to any of the other trainings that they want.
What was, tell us again what the website was, and I'll put that website up so that everybody else can visit it if they want to.
www.ccadets.org.
Okay, great. Thank you for having him come in to give that nugget of information also.
Right, we were just talking about. that
Very
very
thing.
same kind of thing.
Addressing, how do we help educate the youth to know that this is even an opportunity, and that's,
Right.
I have a little bit of knowledge about the Sea Cadets through, the program, so that's definitely something worthy of mentioning.
And one of the things that I want to stress about the program is there's so many different opportunities. There's also, I mentioned the advanced trainings, there's also international exchanges, there's opportunities for scholarships. International exchanges where either we send cadets to other countries or other countries sending their cadets here. So it's a learning experience with other countries.
Right.
And then there's different opportunities to visit Congress or other activities.
So you can learn some of the civic side of things.
There's really a wide breadth of experiences that cadets get out of it. I'm a product of the program, so when I was a teenager, wasn't doing anything, wasn't involved in sports or anything. We went down and visited Seacadet unit. I got hooked. I stayed with the Seacadet program until I got into college. Went to college and then did 20 years in the Navy. And now I work, I'm out of the Navy, but I work supporting the Navy program. So certainly set the course for my life and
Wow.
big fan for a lot of others.
Great,
Wow.
great. So
Wow.
if kids come back, I mean, they're definitely interested.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of kids that come back to this training. Some of them, they get the opportunity to staff, so then they're in a leadership position and they get to learn what it's like to lead other cadets, other people.
Which is really valuable because I think we've all worked with a supervisor or two that probably didn't have any supervisory training,
Right.
right? So,
And the program has what they call Petty Officer Leadership Academy, which is something they go through in the middle of their tenure with the program. There's one that they actually do at the Navy's Leadership Academy at the Newport, Rhode Island. So they get to learn from actual Navy leadership people who are teaching it. And so they really get, again, a broad experience on leadership. And they get opportunities at other trainings to do staff training and other opportunities to lead cadets.
great. Wow, thank you so much for telling us about that. We really appreciate it. What was your name again, please?
Scott, of course,
Okay. All right, thank you, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for giving us some time to explain that. I think that the audience is going to be interested in that opportunity also. So, thank you.
Yeah.
Again, I can't thank the John W. Brown and their crew for
Right.
the time and the effort that they've given us this week and
Right. And
to
because we were
support
just talking about having to find a way to get this information
Yeah.
out, and then this happened. I mean, it's good stuff.
Absolutely.
It's good stuff.
Absolutely.
So we have we have an update.
Is this breaking news?
This is breaking news.
I need to. I guess I need to put one of those like glass breaking thing. Yeah.
Or like big
Graphics.
red banner with white letters, right? Can you do that and you edit that in later? Right? So initially we had guesstimated, or it was kind of guesstimated, that the Brown would be coming into Baltimore around noon.
Tomorrow morning.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Or
Right.
lunchtime. Yeah.
Midday tomorrow. So now we're talking about 7 a.m. at the Bay Bridge,
Okay.
8:30 at the Key Bridge.
The Key Bridge site. Okay.
Yes, 9 o'clock alongside the pier, 9 a.m.
Oh wow.
So that is an update.
Okay.
And we'll have to put that out on socials.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll cut a Facebook Live here real quick. But,
Yeah.
But for those who missed that, they can
Right.
pick it up in the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there's a bunch of people asking, like
What time-
in
what time is
comments and such, so we'll have to update those.
They need to stop at the Dunkin' Donuts or whatever and get your cup of coffee on your way to Fort Armistead Park so you can watch it come through.
Well,
It's
just
gonna be
bring
early.
it to the pier 13.
Oh, and bring us a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
All right. Well, meet us out at Pier 13 about what time again?
9 a.m.
9 o'clock-ish in the morning. There's a cup of coffee. I'll pay you $1. How about that? Don't do that because they don't have 50 people out there. They don't have $50 worth of coffee. They're going to drink all the way home. So
Yeah,
All right. You want to go ahead and close this out?
Yeah, let's do that. So, also, we talked about if you have any suggestions for content, stories. If you think we're horrible and want to tell us how terrible we are,
I'm fine with that.
Mike at BaltimoreShipwatchers.com.
Yep. If we got any kind of emails?
No.
Well, that also means that they haven't complained about it either. So that's
Right, yeah.
fine also.
Yeah. So, just a reminder about socials. So, we're Baltimore Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers. We're a Facebook group. We've got about 15,000 people who are excited about the Port of Baltimore, always want to know how things work, and we help people understand that. We've got a website that highlights our web camera, the same one that caught the Key Bridge accident.
Yep.
And this podcast, you get a link to that. We have some swag, we have some items for sale. So some hats with our hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts with and coffee cups with our logo, so you can go right on to the website, click on the swag tab at the top. There's all kinds of great stuff on the website, ship schedules, port maps. So we're also on Twix, shout out Amy Lawrence. Twix, Instagram, and YouTube as Balto Ches.
And if you're wanting to get the audio version of it, you can listen to it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, and if you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be alerted to new podcasts as they come available.
That is correct. All right. As a tradition, or since we have an audience here, we have a tradition at the end of this podcast, and we wish everybody
Happy ship watching.
we say happy ship watching.
Right.
If you caught any of the podcast, we can't figure out how to go and say it all together. So what we're going to do.
Multiply times 15.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get some audience participation in this one, please. And I would appreciate that. All right. So I'm going to count us off, and I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and I'm going to point, and you're going to say happy ship watching all together. Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Happy ship watching!
That was awesome.
Yes, thank you.
All right. See you next week.
All right, thanks everybody.